Hey, everybody, how are you? Kings, Timberwolves, no DeMar DeRozan, no Malik Monk. Going to be tough. I know that Minnesota has not been playing well, but we're going to find out a lot about Sacramento tonight without two key players in the lineup. I think they're in trouble. I think they're in a lot of trouble. I think they'll play a little bit of a different style, but I think they could be in trouble. All right, I want to get to this. Will I be watching the Tyson Paul fight? No. I have absolutely zero interest in this fight. I don't care. I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's absurd. So no, I'm not gonna watch. Um just I'm sorry, I don't have any interest. I didn't even realize this until maybe yesterday that they're only going 2-minute rounds, an 8-round fight for 2 minutes, and they're using 14-ounce gloves instead of 8-ounce gloves. I mean, what about you? Do you have interest? How many people are going to watch the fight tonight? You think a ton because it's Mike Tyson? I mean, Tyson's a big draw. We get that. What is Tyson? 58 years old? 57 years old? I don't know what the hell he is. I don't care. Would I rather watch Tyson Paul on WWE? Adam, here's my deal. I don't want to watch a 50, what is he, 57, whatever the hell he is, get hit in the head, right? Tell me something. What's the intrigue of this fight? Help me out here. Like, why? Because it's Mike Tyson? Because you want to see if he can still be an accomplished athlete at this age? What about the danger of an older person with different brain functionality getting hit in the head? Does anybody care about that? Or, I mean, is this going to be a pillow fight? Is it going to be a pillow fight with 14-ounce gloves? Adam says, I'm with you, Grant. I'm only watching it to see Mike. No, I get first, I get the money aspect. I get the money aspect of everything. But money does not trump health. Okay? Like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy, or if you have dementia, or you have, ask Muhammad Ali how his money did for him in his last 20 years on the planet. Ask him how that went. But you can't. I'm sorry, he's passed away. All right. If the bench doesn't improve this season, Monty is in a lot of trouble. I would agree with you. I want to see the Kings without DeMar DeRozan. I want to see what style they play. I want to see what style they play. Speaking of the Kings, Ryan, with the pregame show, Jerry Reynolds will join us at half. And then after the game, we invite your phone calls. So I'm hoping that you can join us there. All right, let's get to Condog. What's up, buddy? How are you? Look at you. You're ready to roll. Got the Tennessee Volunteers. You ought to be at Neyland Stadium, even though the game's on the road. What's going on?
I'm really rooting for Tennessee this game because
I can tell. You didn't have to tell me that.
Well, I kind of got a couple of other when I ordered my Oregon Polo, I got a couple SEC ones because there's a couple SEC fans at work, so I just kind of want to troll them a bit. But I said I'll get the face stickers too. I'll go all out and have my fun. But I do like the Volunteers a lot this year. I think I said way earlier in the year, I really liked them to win 10 games. They're looking, even if they lose this game, to be on that pace and pretty much a playoff contender.
I'm not crazy about playing Georgia when they got humiliated a week before.
Yeah, I'm not either. But the one thing about Georgia right now is Carson Beck is an interception machine.
Yes,
right
he is.
Now.
He's turning the ball over a lot.
And this Tennessee defense is really good. That is their strong point. And they play hard. Defense travels, the old saying right there.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be a close one. I know it's 9.5. I think I would definitely not take that. I think it's going to be probably a field goal game.
I have not been to Athens for a game, but last year I went to a game at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, and it was out of this freaking world. I just love the atmosphere in these big SEC games. There's nothing like it. I don't think there's anything like it in American sport, to be honest with you.
From what I've seen, no. I do have a list of places I want to go to. Neyland's at the top. Kyle Fields at the top. DKR is at the top of my list.
At a night game, at LSU's got to be on your list.
Yeah, Baton Rouge. That is also, yeah. Brian Denny's on my list. I have a whole list.
Yeah, honestly. I've been blessed. I've been to. I don't know. I've been over to. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this. I've probably been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of NFL games, and I've been to playoff games. I've been to Super Bowls. I've been to World Series. I don't know if I would put it above Game 7 at Madison Square Garden in '94 for the Stanley Cup Finals, but that's an enclosed environment, which is much different than an outdoor stadium like Bama or Tennessee. But when I went to my first Alabama game against Ole Miss a couple of years ago at Bryant-Denny, I had never experienced anything like that. And then when I went to Tennessee last year to see the Volunteers play South Carolina, I was just like, oh my God. Like it's really hard to explain. It's over the top.
Yeah. So my Georgia fan, he even said, "Have you been to Neyland?" He said, "I did." And he told me he did. And he said, like the tailgating, like they're on the river, like in boats and stuff. Yep. Like you can just hop from boat to boat. Like it's crazy environment.
It's called the Vol Navy. They call them the Vol Navy. That's what they're named. You can buy hats, Vol Navy. And I was down on the river. It was a beautiful day when I went with my son and his girlfriend, and we were down there for a couple hours. It's freaking off the hook. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the Southland knows how to do football, man. When it comes to college, they know how to do it.
Yep. And I'll tell you, if you ever go to a game, try to make it a night game, because the tailgating all day and the build up to a big game at night, there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of how the all day feeling was when I went to college game day for Berkeley. It was all day, like 6 a.m. Well, even the kids who were lined up prior, even before I got there. Yeah.
Are any other games you're keeping an eye on this weekend?
Actually, Oregon, Wisconsin is one to keep an eye on. It is a night game at Camp Randall. Night games, there's always some weird voodoo magic in the air.
And Oregon always seems to stumble. Oregon always seems to stumble when they got things going so well.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Because if this is the game to drop, this would be the one that they drop, because I don't think they're dropping after the bye week at home at Autzen Stadium versus the Huskies this year. This would be the one they drop if they are to drop one, because they're almost unbeatable at home. Like they've only had one loss in like their last 40 wins there. Like it's incredible. Yeah. But then obviously Tennessee, Georgia. Another one to watch is actually the Colorado game. I actually have on watch, the Utah Colorado game, because I mean Colorado again, ever since Deion shut up, they've become a much better team.
Yep.
Again, this is also a conference that was built for Colorado, because Big 12 is air raid heavy. It's not as heavy on the line. And you know what, Colorado has the best quarterback and the best receiver, and maybe two receivers with Horn as well, with Hunter and Horn, to be able to win these air raid matchups. It's not like back in Pac-12 when they got into an air raid shootout with Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley. That's just, even if you have Shedeur and Trout, that's not a matchup you wanted. And then Oregon pummeled them at the line and killed them. But this is a conference that was a little more built for Colorado's strength, and that was probably one of the reasons why they chose the Big 12 instead of the Big 10 when conference realignment happened. Kudos to them. They took advantage of their strengths.
Enjoy the games, man. I hope you enjoy the game, and I know who you're rooting for, so go Vols.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I'm going to be watching the Kings game later today.
Yep, we'll see if they can fare okay without DeMar DeRozan. Thanks, buddy. Enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you joining us. He's a piece of work, ain't he? Unbelievable. Piece of work. Yeah, the Kings without DeMar DeRozan tonight. Obviously, no Malik Monk. So I don't know if they're going to be able to score enough to beat Minnesota. And I know Minnesota's not been playing well, and they haven't exactly been scoring a lot. But this is a big game for Minnesota. They got to stop the slide here, and they are getting a golden opportunity. You know, when you look at the standings right now, Minnesota is in 11th place at 6-6. They've lost 3 in a row. I just don't see this team losing 4 in a row. I'm sorry, I don't. I know they're not playing well, but this is a big game for Minnesota. Don't get me wrong. This is a very big game tonight, early in the season. Plus, Minnesota's already beat the Kings once this year. So, no DeMar DeRozan, no Malik Monk. Sacramento, 7-5. 7-5. Busy game, busy schedule tonight in the NBA. You know, games involving Western Conference teams. Lakers are in San Antonio. The Clippers take on Houston in Houston. The struggling Pelicans are home to the Nuggets. The Suns, who are still without Durant, are out the Thunder. Memphis in San Francisco to take on the Warriors. And, of course, we told you, obviously, it's the Kings and the Timberwolves. It's going to be tough for the Kings tonight. This is a game where you absolutely need De'Aaron Fox to be a stud, and you need Keegan Murray to go off. You can't have a quiet game from Keegan Murray, all right? Do I remember when I said the A's wouldn't play in Sacktown? Yes, and they still won't play in Sacktown. Yes, this does not count as being in Sacramento. This is a rental, which I'm not surprised at all. But if you think that the A's are going to Sacramento full-time, you're delusional. You're delusional. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, please do so. Happy to have you. All right, if you want to call the show, here is your link. You can hit that, and I would be more than happy to have you on. So just give me a call, and we will do it. Something else that you want to keep in mind, all right? Thanksgiving. Bennett's. They go hand in hand. Sacramento. Roseville. The West Side Grill. 11 in the morning to 7 in the evening. Thanksgiving at Bennett's. You could also order your Thanksgiving dinner to be picked up. So there are other options. Just go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com and enjoy Thanksgiving at Bennett's. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Pre-game show with Ryan in Sacktown. Jerry Reynolds with the halftime show. And, yes, indeed, the post-game show with your calls. Hey, dude, the Beatles broke up too. Did you know that? Just didn't know if you knew that. The Beatles actually broke up. That's right. They broke up. Do I have a story on the recently passed former Giant running back Charlie Evans? I do not. Sorry. Do not. I have a lot of stories from a lot of other former Giants, but I don't have one on Charlie. Do you? Just curious. I know my dad would if he were alive, that's for sure. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, just hit me up on the chat line. We're not going to go that long today. I wanted to go about 30 minutes. Wanted to touch base with you. What about the game last night with the Eagles and the Commanders? Philadelphia now taking control of the NFC East. That's back-to-back losses for the Commanders. I still think they're a playoff team, but Philadelphia, they're going to win that very weak division. It's a 2-team division. You know, when you play the Cowboys or the Giants, you have the week off. So it's a very weak division. Very weak. I think when you look at Philadelphia, I don't know if they have enough to get back to the Super Bowl. I just don't. Any places that I plan to travel for 2025? It's a good question. No. Maybe just Thailand. I spend a lot of time there now. So between Thailand and the United States, I don't go as much because of the cost involved, especially during the high season. which is now the airfares go up, everything goes up. So it's just getting back and forth. I don't mind the actual flight. I love flying, as I've told people, but it's expensive, and I'm on a tighter budget. So no, I don't think so. Maybe going back and forth to Thailand. I will definitely hit Thailand, but I will not probably go anywhere else. You know, the other thing, if you do travel, one of the nice things about going to Southeast Asia, everything is super cheap. Vietnam is even cheaper than Thailand, and Vietnam is spectacular. It's beautiful. I didn't realize, I was blown away when I went there for the first time a couple of years ago. I was blown away. Laos, Cambodia, you know, incredible countries. Singapore is very beautiful, but it's expensive. But they're all close. You know, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. Any recommendations to eat in Toronto or a must see? You know, it was always too cold when I was there, so I didn't go out to eat. I mean, there is a big portion of the city that's connected underneath with walkways and everything. I didn't really go out to eat that much in Toronto. Must see. It's a different city in the winter than in the summer. So I would have always said go to a Blue Jays game because that stadium is incredible. Used to be Sky Dome. It's an amazing stadium. You know, if you're there, I would recommend going to a Raptors game or a Leafs game if you can get tickets. I would highly recommend that. The Fox Sports Bar directly across the street from the arena is a great sports bar. In terms of sightseeing, not really. Again, I was always there. Well, I wasn't there. I mean, I did the Arena Football League there in the summer a couple of times. It's not really. I'm sorry. I'm not a great person on Toronto. You know, I'm not the person you want to talk to about sightseeing in Toronto because I was there predominantly there in the wintertime. And I've always, in the wintertime, it's just, you know, I stayed in the hotel because it was bitterly cold. All right. So I just, yeah. Now, ask somebody else. All right. Ask somebody else about Toronto. All right. Again, happy to have you here. And we will be with you, of course, for the pregame with Ryan at Sacktown, halftime. And yes, indeed, we will have the postgame show with your calls. And we will also have my rant with Grant, brought to you by EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. And all you need to do to get more information is go to edhmotors.com. David and Adam are doing a great thing. This is a long overdue new concept where they offer new vehicle brokerage, vehicle consignments. They'll sell your vehicle for you. And of course, they can buy your car and will sell pre-owned vehicles. And, you know, you take delivery in their beautiful auto lounge at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. Think about that. You go to a beautiful auto lounge, right? Just it's got nice lazy boy chairs. You don't deal with all the pressure and, you know, listen, not every time that you go to a dealership, it's an unpleasant experience, but it's the second major purchase in your life next to your home, right? And I've heard horror stories. And, you know, wasn't that long ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago, I had a few bad experiences buying automobiles. But this takes it just to a whole new level. And they have no obligation to any franchise or big corporation. They have over 40 years of experience in the automotive industry. So check them out, EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined at edhmotors.com. And I think you'll really enjoy this concept. It is really, really good. All right, again, don't forget, we've got a busy evening right here on If You Don't Like That. I haven't really thought about this, James, my front runner for NFL comeback player. What about you? I've been giving it a lot of thought. I am taking Buffalo, and I'll tell you, without Harrison Butker now, he's out with he's on injured reserve, so he can't play for at least 4 weeks. Their outstanding kicker. I think that's going to hurt them. But I think Buffalo wins. I think Buffalo in the regular season seems to beat Kansas City, and Kansas City always seems to beat Buffalo in the playoffs. Patrick says Yankees are going to generate $15 million for the Rays' use of their field. Per Newsday, it's even smaller than Sacktown. You know, I've said that, but here's the deal with the Rays. No one goes to the Rays games anyway unless the Yankees or the Red Sox are in town. So they could play at a Little League ballpark. It really wouldn't matter. No big deal. They'll probably get a lot more fans at Steinbrenner Field than they will at that dump in the Dome in St. Petersburg, Right now I'm taking Kirk Cousins. Yeah, what are they? 6-4? Yeah. If they make the playoffs and Cousins continues to play well, yes, I could see that. Barkley for comeback with Russell right behind him. They're all candidates. We'll see. We'll see. Barkley played last year, so Cousins got hurt. It's a tough one, Average 12,000 per game. There you have it from Patrick. So anyway, as far as the Yankees generating $15 million in revenue, $15 million in revenue for the Yankees, Patrick, and I don't know your financial portfolio, but for me, it's like taking a $5 bill out of my pocket. It's not like the 15 million Yankees, like they flushed that money down the toilet. So, generating the money's not a big deal. Who am I taking in the fight tonight, Tyson or Paul? I'm taking I don't care. And I'm taking I don't care to win a unanimous decision. I do think Minnesota will get the W tonight. I do. I think without DeMar DeRozan and without Malik Monk, the Kings are going to have a lot of trouble scoring the ball. It's going to be different. Fox is going to have to go off. Can't turn the ball over. Keegan Murray and Sabonis are going to have to be big. Your bench, I'm not confident in this game tonight from Sacramento's perspective. I think they could have some real issues tonight. Think about what DeRozan's done for this team. And Minnesota's not playing well, I get that. But they're not going to keep playing poorly for the rest of the year. They've now lost 3 games in a row, and that would concern me. That concerns me. So, yeah, I am picking Minnesota tonight. What about you? Who are you picking? Who's everyone? You think Minnesota wins this game tonight? Again, I'm not saying it can't be close. This is a great point. Randall does kill the Kings. He killed the Kings on opening night. Sacramento had no answer for him. Yeah, Keegan is going to have to step up tonight for sure. No doubt. Going to have to score. I don't think the Kings can win if Keegan Murray doesn't score 20 or more points. I just don't. I think 20 or more for Keegan Murray. And he's capable. You got to get out. You can't get in foul trouble guarding Randall. That's another thing. Sabonis cannot get in foul trouble tonight without DeRozan, especially with no bench or a limited bench. It's going to be a tough game for Sacramento. And, now DeMar DeRozan missing his first game, and he missed the second half the other night with his back. It's a little bit of a concern. But anyway, we'll break it down for you. Again, Ryan in Sacktown with the pregame show. Jerry Reynolds joins us at intermission and the postgame show. All right, NFL this weekend. There are some interesting games. I don't think there's a better game, obviously, on the schedule than Kansas City at Buffalo. And I think Buffalo will win this game. I just don't think Kansas City is running the table. They're not going undefeated at 17-0. The Bills are very good at 8-2. So Pittsburgh, to me, is the surprise team this year. I never count out Mike Tomlin, but I didn't think they would be 7-2. And, when you look at the schedule, that's another dandy of a matchup. It's a big game. Very big game. I'm looking forward to that game. I just can't go against Mike Tomlin because every time I go against Mike Tomlin, I get bit. But I think Baltimore is going to win this game. I think Baltimore is going to win. Seattle at San Francisco, big game, NFC West. Boy, the Sunday night game's awful. Houston at Dallas. Or excuse me, the Monday night game. The Sunday night game is Cincinnati at the Chargers. I beg your pardon. But that's some of the highlights of this schedule. Chargers, Bengals, a good matchup. I don't know. It's okay. It doesn't do much for me. If I could only watch one game, I'm watching Kansas City Buffalo. If I can only watch two games, it's that game and the Ravens and the Steelers. Did I ever get a chance to meet O.J. Simpson? No, but I was at the game at Shea Stadium when he ran for over 2,000 yards. And a lot of people forget what a monumental achievement that was. That was a 14-game season. Now I hear about Derrick Henry and these other players, 2,000 yards in 17 games. Okay, I know it's a passing league now, and I'm not saying that's not impressive. It is. But don't talk to me about 2,000 yards in a season until you can do it in 14. Still to this day, the coldest football game I've ever been at, the day that Simpson rushed for over 2,000 yards in a season. When he did it, there were very few people left at Shea Stadium. First of all, there were a lot of no-shows because it was bitterly cold that day. So cold that my brother left at halftime to go hang out in the car with the heater on, lightweight. I'm like, you out of your freaking mind. I'm watching history. I'm not leaving. Me and Mad Dog Russo were at the game. We're like, we're not leaving. What's wrong with you? It was awful that day. Awful. But that was an achievement. But no, I don't believe our paths ever crossed. All right, again, I'm going to wrap up the show. I want to get in 30 minutes today. Don't forget, pregame with Ryan, halftime, postgame show right here on If You Don't Like That. Talk to you in a little bit, everybody. Thank you very much. And if for some reason you can't join us tonight, have yourself a fabulous weekend. Bye-bye now.